What's going on, guys? Chad here. Welcome back to the Dorky and 40 channel. Today I want to talk about a $30 budget type of frame versus a $100 premium type of frame. Join the discussion, drop a comment down below. If you think I'm doing a good job, there's a PayPal link to me down there where you can, buy me a pop or a donut, send me a buck or two, whatever, if I help you out. Really appreciate it. And don't forget to check out maybe some of the Amazon links or something like that. Go buy a refrigerator or something after you click on it. Specifically in this case, we're going to be comparing my TBS Source 1 with my Shen Drones Ichabod Jr. Specifically, I want to look at the noise profiles of these quads because the $30 cheap frame is made out of bad carbon. I've had to replace the standoffs that come with it, just lower tolerances, everything like that. The Ichabod Jr., on the other hand, has got really nice carbon. It has really nice materials. It has 8mm thick arms, and it just feels super solid. Yeah, I don't know. It's a $100 frame that is made for filming. So this thing should be smooth as glass in the air, even if I put the worst props and everything else on it. At least that is kind of the trend that a lot of these manufacturers are going to. Thicker bottom plates, thicker arms, this and that, everything else. Soft mounts and the flight controller grommets, all kinds of different stuff. But surprisingly, that better quality carbon and all of that thickness really doesn't lead to a lot of extra noise performance. Let's take a look and I'll show you what I have here. So the very first flight here is from the Source 1 6S 1250 1750 kV 2207 motors, and this ship flies great. It's pretty much my favorite rig right now, definitely my go-to, along with my other Source 1, which we'll take a look at here in a second. Spent a lot of time tuning this, perfecting it, and tweaking the frame a little bit with like some newer standoffs and stuff like that. Here's the Ichabod Jr. You can see the video is just as smooth. It's a different kind of flyer because obviously it's built different. Got that camera out front, definitely made for filming. Not so much aggressive freestyle, but it has to have the most amount of filtering, which we'll take a look at. The previous Source 1 had the least amount of filtering. We're talking no second filters, nothing like that. All PT1 at around 150, where this has secondary filters. Now this is my 5S Source 1 build with older motors, individual ESCs, just kind of a lot older electronics, and it's the oldest Source 1 frame that I have. Arms are delaminating. You can see how good this looks. The only difference between this and the other one when it comes to filtering is that I just had to lower my filters to like 120 Hertz versus 150. So I'm not really losing much in like latency or anything like that. Flies just as good. In fact, the different power band on the higher KV 5S I kind of enjoy a little bit more sometimes than I do the 6S. Just doesn't fly as long. So now that we've taken a look at a couple little flights out of both, let's take a look at the actual PID Toolbox noise profiles. PID Toolbox is kind of similar to Plasma Tree. I like it better. It's way faster. It runs easier on your computer, and it's just a great tool. So if we look here, we have log A and log B. This log A is for the Source 1 6S build. This log here is for the Ichabod Jr. They're both using the Revolt OSD flight controllers, Bolt 32, same motors, everything. Now, if we look at the unfiltered gyro for the Source 1 and for the Ichabod here, you can see that I had to fly the Ichabod with more of a higher throttle pretty much at all times. This is your throttle going this way, and this is your noise going this way. So you can see compared to how I have to fly my Source 1 compared to the Ichabod Junior, you can see that there's a lot more noise going on because I have to apply a lot more throttle to it. And that also comes through in the filter data. If we look at the filter data here for the gyro on roll and on pitch, you can see that there's a lot more noise floating around here between 50 and 100% throttle than around here. I'm sure this would fill in a little bit as well, but I know just from fact that it's not as much. We can look at the old school black box viewer here, and you can see just one axis off of my revolt. This is the actual gyro scaled unfiltered data, which at first glance doesn't look the best. And here is a look at the Ichabod Junior. Now the thing is, on the Ichabod Junior, all three of my axes have humps like these, where on the Source 1 I only have that one hump that you just saw. There's another from the Ichabod, and this is the after filtering of the Ichabod. There's that hump right there that we were talking about. And if you look at my revolt after filtering, you can see pretty much everything is just a flat line. We can take a look at the motors, and we can actually see that the motors, at least on the Source 1, this is motors 1 and 2 for the Source 1, motors 1 and 2 for the Icky, so on and so forth. We can actually see that the motors are noisier on the revolt as well. So we have noisier motors, but we have not as much noise coming through on the frame. And then if we really want to look here at like PIDs and how that kind of stuff works, I'm using half the amount of filtering on the Source 1 that has the cheaper carbon, thinner arms, lower quality carbon, all that kind of stuff, compared to the 8mm thick arms, 3K carbon, all that kind of stuff. So if we look at, the actual P noise values and stuff like that, these are kind of a little bit different just because they're tuned a little bit differently. But if we look at the amount of D-term noise that's coming through, I am allowing a little bit more D-term noise to come through on the Source 1, and I'm able to still tune that and get away with it, as you can see how clean everything looks, because I have a cleaner looking gyro. So that allows me to increase my P gains, get more authority, and all that kind of stuff. If you look here on the actual Ichabod, I've got less D coming through, so the D is filtered a lot more heavier because I have 2 additional filters, 1 extra on the gyro and 1 extra on the D term. So after seeing the flights of 2 different Source 1 builds and the Ichabod Junior, what do you think? Why does a frame that's built around lowering resonance actually display more resonance and need actually more filtering to work? I'm not 100% sure. I just know that it's all in the numbers. All of these logs and everything are like just some samples that have been bounced around between myself and people on the Betaflight black box user group on Facebook. They've helped me, tune these quads and tune these filters and everything to their max. As you can see, the video performance out of all of them is spectacular. No hyper smooth or nothing like that. ND filters applied. That's it. Shutter speed locked. The usual stuff in the GoPro. There's nothing fancy going on there. So yeah, I'm pretty sold on the Source 1, as you can tell. And it's really hard for me to pull the trigger on like a premium frame from here on out. But, there are annoyances with the Source 1. The arms are delaminating. Like I said, the standoffs were horrible. Everything like that. So I have made a few upgrades to at least one of them. But the 5S one that you saw is all stock original. It's got dirty 2207 motors on it. You know, the 5S packs are not that good as far as power delivery goes compared to the 6S. So it's running harder and rougher, but actually is producing just as good video, because I think it's pretty much common knowledge that higher KV 4S and 5S setups, for the most part, will give you better video than 6S, especially when you're doing like mid-range type of cruising and stuff. When you're out there just kind of in flat land, just kind of going on like a 6S at low throttle, sometimes you do get some weird kind of flight characteristics. So I do have one premium frame that I still want to build, and that is the Craft Quads Low Flow. I listened to the Fly Alive podcast. I watched Martin's videos. I really want to see what this thing's all about. It's manufactured here in the United States. So that basically is what is all of the stuff that's here in the Ichabod is actually going in that. And this will be going up for sale. So, you know, it's a nice ship for people that are looking for something to like film with and this and that and everything. But for me, I thought it would kind of fit my flying style. But I keep on coming back to this fact that there's really nothing that a really decent 5-inch quad like the Source One, a Reverb, a Alien can't do. They can short range, mid range, long range, park fly, and everything. So anyway, hope this helped you guys out. We'll have more coming up on this PID toolbox and all this stuff like that too, because I really want to dive in and show you guys some more things that I've learned. But this is just a little taste here. So we'll talk to you guys later.